Hey everybody, it's Rob Ziegler, and in today's video I want to talk a little bit about the film versus digital debate. Alright, so I realize right off the bat, this is a loaded topic, isn't it? And really, what I want to talk about is not so much the image quality, because that's what always comes up, right? It's like, you know, my digital image is better than your film image because, or my film image is better than your digital image because, and honestly, like sometimes with today's technology, I can't really tell the difference, you know, with today's scanning technology. You get the digital side who says, oh, you know, you shoot with RAW and you have all this 13 stops of dynamic range. And then the film side says, oh, I don't need dynamic range. Look at the exposure latitude on a film shot and a film camera. And it's just like, yeah, both valid, right? Absolutely. But for me, shooting on film, it's not about the image quality so much. And I know that probably sounds pretty weird coming from somebody who likes photography, right? But what I'm actually more interested in is the technology aspect of older film cameras. And what I mean by that is that film cameras in general to me, and part of the joy of capturing stuff on film, is that I have the ability to go back on literally a century of technology now, right? I can start, I mean, we have the ability to do tintypes, we can do 4x5s. We can do large format 8x10 stuff that was being done way before any of us were ever around, right? And then obviously you've got the 35mm cameras, the older Leicas, and you can literally, with film, time travel through decades of technology. And this is something that isn't really available to digital shooters because I enjoy shooting on a Leica M3 from the late 50s, early 60s, right? And I can follow the technological progression of that camera, and I can see the Konica Hexar RF that I have, and I can see, how rangefinder technology improved, but really we still have this beautiful mixture of old and new that's available to us right now. I didn't have to wait, 40 years for that to show up, for that Konica to show up. It's available now. We can go back in time essentially and I can get anything. If I want something from the 50s, I can get that. If I want something from the 2000s, I can get that. But with digital, I'm shooting this on an X-T2 right now, and I mean, I really don't want to go back in time and shoot this on a camera from the 2000s with a mini DV technology or a high 8 or something like that, right? It's an interesting conundrum. And I mean, honestly, that's been my argument for film for a while. I mean, I look at the ability to shoot on brands like Mamiya, Hasselblad, and Leica, and I can do that with the film world. And the way that these cameras are crafted is just so simple and so beautiful. And it's just these elements of design that I can pick up a film camera and just shoot it, just to hear the shutter, just to, get the movements going. I have a Widelux F8. Let me see if I can get that. Hang on a second. All right, don't be disappointed. I didn't do the old YouTube, and all of a sudden it's in my hand. It's getting kind of played out, isn't it, YouTube? Well, honestly. But what I do have is that F8 I was just talking about. So this is a Widelux F8 model. For those of you that don't know, this is a panoramic camera. You have to shoot it like this. That's how you have to hold it, because otherwise this extreme wide angle of this turret is going to capture everything, including fingers, if you held it like this. But just looking at this sort of what is this, Art Deco? Is that what you would call it? Let's see if I can get that in the light. Just looking at this camera and the way that this thing has been designed, I could just look at this and just shoot this thing, and it just feels like, something from a whole different era, because it is, and I don't see design in digital cameras like this anymore. I never look at an old Sony CyberShot camera from 1999 and go, wow, that was a really great design, I love that. But with film cameras, I do. And so to sum it all up, that's the gist of it for me. When it comes to shooting on film, really it's because I can time travel, right? And I can time travel to a time when this was the de facto square format camera. This is a Caloflex, by the way, very similar to a Rolleiflex, but the lens on this is incredibly sharp. So, I'll never stop shooting digital, right? I mean, that's just the time, that's the era we live in now. But who knows what digital will be like 50 years from now. But I know what film was like 50 years ago. And that's why I like shooting film. And for film versus digital for me, that's why film wins out a lot, is because I can shoot on cameras like this. And I can have that experience. And there's nothing wrong with that, honestly. So, you know, you do you and you shoot what you want, but if you want to actually experience true time travel, film, that's the way to go. It'll be digital out every time. So, hey, listen, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Thanks.